My girlfriend cheated on me and I don't know if I can get over it. So, me and my girlfriend, we'll call her Grace, age 22 and I 20 on M, have been together for about 6 months. Our relationship started really good. I met her through my ex that was cheating on me. Grace was one that made me aware of it, and we got together a bit after a crazy situation with my ex. Anyhow, I did have some trust issues, mostly from that and some other relationships that have ended because of infidelity. Grace knew about these insecurities and tried to reassure me about it sometimes when it started to get bad, and assured me that she was different and she would never lie to me. Well, about 3 months in, I was sleeping at Grace's house and I seen a text message that came in about 12:47. AYM. Being so late, I checked to see what it was. Grace was asleep at this time. I looked and noticed there were a few people she was flirting with, about 4 people. One was a person she said was a friend. She had been talking to this person since we got together, and I doubt worry about it much because of that, but seeing what he sent to her on a day-to-day basis was infuriating. The second was an old ex she did have much flirting happening, but was still talking to him pretty consistently. The third was a co-worker at her new job that she had just got after being fired from her last job. This was a 48-year-old man. She was first contacted on Facebook and he asked, "Do you have a BF?" She replied, "Yeah, but we're talking now, Sue." This continued until I found out, and she cut him off. The fourth was an ex-co-worker/manager that was married. He was about 39 or close to it. They had been in a situationship for some time, but before I met her. She would text him while I was around her, and I always felt really weird about it. I learned that she was seeing him before we dated and continued to before she got fired from her job. About a month into us dating, then stopped about then. So after all of this, I packed my shit and sat on the floor for about 3 hours, deciding whether to just up and leave, block her and never speak to her again, or to see what she had to say about it. I eventually decided that I wanted to see what she would say. I woke her up and told her we needed to go for a drive. We went to a parking lot about a block from her house, in case she needed to leave and could walk home, or started to yell. She lives with her parents. I told her everything I seen. After her explaining who everyone was, I told her I was going to leave her and to not contact me again. She broke down and sobbed for about 2 hours. I fought back and forth with myself and her whether I was going to leave her. After her begging me for so long, I gave her another shot. It's been 6 months now, and in still fighting this shit in my head. I really love the woman, but the constant thought of this happening again has literally been killing me. She has either stopped and has done it again or got real good at hiding it. So, AITA for wanting to leave her because I can't trust her and probably never will again. Also, do you think this relationship can even be saved? I do love the woman, but I can't look at her the same anymore. P. Sorry for the spelling and grammar mistakes. TLDR. My GF cheated on me with 4 people and I'm pissed off. Story 2. By refusing to help my parents? For some context, my parents 54M and 55F and I 26 moved to a foreign country about 2 years ago and we live together. Even if we don't get along well, I was willing to be there for them before moving somewhere by myself. The reason was to help them adjust until they felt confident enough to stand on their own. At first, I would help them with any documentation, finding a place and getting a job. I was always running here and there to translate and explain anything they needed me to. However, even after 2 years, they keep asking me for favors such as make calls, go to the doctor with them, write their emails, craft CVs, find a new apartment to rent, go to the post office, manage the problems with their bank cards, and the list goes on. I've tried teaching them how to do most tasks by themselves and how to use a translator in case they need it, but they always end up saying it's too difficult for them and end up asking me to do it for them. They never made an effort to learn the language as well. 2 years, and they still can't ask how much something costs. When I try to refuse, they'll keep asking and pester me until I give in. Otherwise, they will call me a cheap whore, bitch, little shit, dirtbag, and other colorful pet names and threaten me to never help me with my needs, something they never did in the first place. I tried explaining that some of the things they ask me to do cross my boundaries. I have extreme social anxiety, and going outside alone is enough to make me want to vomit, and that I can't always do their jobs. At this point, I'm always so busy with their issues that I never have the time to focus on my job, which has led to me losing or not being able to take more clients. I really wanted to move out ASAP, but no clients equals no money equals staying with them until I'm financially independent. The cherry on top was yesterday, when my father asked me to make a call to a company he wanted to apply for and talk to them in his place. He got fired from his previous job due to his alcohol addiction. I refused, saying it's not my place to do so and that he needs to learn how to handle these situations himself. He got angry and started showering me with his usual lovely nicknames. We had a huge argument, and I told him that moving forward I won't be helping him or anyone else. My mom and brother were on his side and said, since we're family, we need to help each other. That's what we would do for you two, which is the biggest lie I've heard. Whenever I asked them to do something, their answer would be, Google it, or I don't have the time right now. So I stopped asking anything from them and tried to find solutions by myself. At this point, I feel more like a secretary than a family member. They always talk so well to each other, and then there's me, the black sheep who will do anything like the good people pleaser I am, even when they call me a bitch. I honestly don't know what to think. Am I really acting like a snowflake? Story 3. For losing all respect for my serial cheating father. So my mom, 42, and my dad, 47M, have been together for like 22 years and have had 8 kids, of which I am the oldest, and I have a kid of my own and one on the way. My dad has had a history of swinging the other way and seeking male attention when he gets bored of my mom. When we moved to where we are now, my dad went 6 months without my mom because he was working, and he cheated on her then with one of his furry friends in the group he hung out with. She forgave him and made him get STD tested, and that was all the way in 2017, so long time ago, and I thought he was done with that sort of thing. My mom recently confided to me, however, that my dad has cheated at least 3 times. I believe it was more after this event over the years, but she's been saying some pretty weird shit, pardon my language. Basically, my dad told her that he has a boyfriend in a city about 8 hours from here, and if he were to ever see him and do things, then he'd tell my mom. But he's not willing to end things with this guy for the sake of being a faithful husband, because my dad has just found out that he's bisexual and needs to have intercourse with both male and female genitals to be happy. My mom said she'd prefer to be monogamous, but just because they have 8 kids together, she's willing to stick with him and deal with it. I can understand this logic if it's like a boyfriend or a fling and you're just acting petty, but they are setting the example for 7 other kids, including myself, and I had to go to therapy to unlearn all the toxic things I learned from my dad. I've been telling her that I'm willing to move out of state with her, my siblings, my children, and my own husband, to move closer to our family. But she doesn't want to get dramatic and everything gets messy. I've been in abusive situations involving drugs, so I don't understand avoiding a conflict because it'll get dramatic, and I fought my way out of those situations. I guess at this point I don't really feel anything for my dad anymore. He's always talked about killing himself my whole childhood, and even now he says that when my mom is set up with money, then he's going to blow his brains out. I feel like if he did, I would be sad, but undeprived. Hell, there might be that tiny aspect that's like, oh, they're just living their fluid sexuality, but like my dad lied for years to my mom and I'm mad about it. If my dad tries to talk to me about his actions, I don't think I'll be able to hear it. Am I overreacting for practically losing sleep over this? Story 4. About my parents and my relationship. I'm a 21Y/OF who lives with her parents. I don't like to throw around the word abusive because I feel that it is insensitive to those who are going through it, and I love my family, but I feel like they are taking advantage of me. Almost a year ago, my parents asked me to start paying rent to stay at their place. They requested $750 a month, which sounds insane, but they said they would make a separate bank account and keep my rent money there. That way, when I do move out, I would get all of that money back. So I agreed. Ever since, they've been taking the $750 once a month, but on random days. I'm not allowed to leave when I want to, and I still have a 10 curfew. When I want to sit around and play video games after work, they get mad because I'm not pulling my weight, and adulting isn't about being lazy, and other things like that. Here shit starts to hit the fan. After about 10 months of paying rent, I started having this really bad gut feeling that I couldn't shake, so I added my total amount together and decided to ask my parents how much money is in the account, just to see if they align. But to my shock, when I asked them about it, my mom looked at me confused. "What do you mean, your money?" I responded with my rent money? The money you're keeping in a separate account for me? Did we discuss that? When you live in an apartment, they don't give you the money after you move out. I was destroyed and decided to move out anyways. I'm in the process of getting the final paperwork out of the way, but please Reddit, what do I do? Am I overreacting and I call my household abusive or unstable? Story 5. To this incident with my girlfriend. My girlfriend 22 and I 20 Tom have been together since 10/23 but long distance since 8/24. She's my first serious relationship, and at the same time I've figured out that I have CPTSD and lots of memories from my childhood have come up, and it's been an adjustment. Because of my past, I really struggle to speak up for myself, and it's been especially hard within my relationship because I'm just scared of backlash and her leaving, and it's something I'm trying to work on. There have been a lot of instances in the past couple months where I just feel like she doesn't listen to me and it gets really bad, but I've never brought it up because I just don't know how to speak up. I'm terrified. So all these things have gone unsaid, and it's my fault it's gotten to this breaking point. Some examples that I've let slip and have actually come back up. She wanted to join a workout circuit. I encouraged her to if she wanted to, but said I didn't want to talk weight and diets cause of my past, and she said it was okay. Then just today sent me a text, going for a checkup, and finding out she's been the same weight for 5 years. I'm a fairly hairless guy and it makes me insecure. It's dumb, but I've told her that before because she's actually hairier than me, and when she compares us it makes me feel bad, so I told her a while back to not compare us like that, but she still does every so often, with the latest time when she was last over, and there's at least 3-4 other things if I think about it. TW for this part. When I was a kid I experienced COSA from a cousin, and that's as far as I'll go with that. I haven't told my GF, I barely accepted it a couple months ago. This last week was my birthday and she came down for the weekend. We were together all weekend. The night before she left, we were drinking and having some fun. Things were getting hot, so I went to get a shower ready for us, but when I came back she was asleep. It was fine, I just took a shower and joined her for bedtime. The next morning she said sorry and I told her it was no issue at all. We were just wrestling around and tickling each other and enjoying our time before she left. She mentioned wanting to go down on me and I said no, not now, and she backed off, but then 20 minutes later she ended up going down on me. IDK how it happened, I didn't say no again, but I didn't know how to tell her to stop. I just froze and let it happen, and soon enough it was over. I didn't think anything of it at first. I kind of felt a little off and disappointed because I felt like I caved. It's been a few days since and I keep thinking, ABTI. I keep thinking how I said no, but then she did it anyway later on. I feel like it's my fault and I should have stopped her, but I trusted her and that she heard my no and I just didn't know what to do. I'm just so confused. ADK how to feel. She had mentioned before she came down that the first night she wouldn't want to do anything cause of the long drive, and I said, OFC, that if she wasn't into it then it's not fun, and she mentioned how she had been pressured by an ex, and I reassured her I would never do that, but then this happened and I'm just lost. If a friend told me this I would tell them to leave and that what happened wasn't okay, but I feel like I can't believe myself because she loves me and wouldn't do something like that. But I also said no, at least I had. I felt like when I was a kid again and just so helpless and stuck. I'm just lost. I feel like if I checked her earlier about not listening to me then this wouldn't have happened, like it's my fault for not speaking up earlier on. But also maybe I'm just people-pleasing because I don't like conflict. Nidik how I would break up with her and I can't talk to anyone IRL about this because all of my friends became her friend and I'm not going to shit-talk her to everyone. Help IDK what to do or feel. I feel shitty but maybe there's no reason to. Maybe this is just how relationships are.